What up, players? It's War Boss Tay up in this mud. It is 1:52 in the AM, and I just got out of watching The Hobbitses, and I am on my way home, and I thought, you know, why don't I turn on the little recorder here and just say what I thought about the movie, since it's so tied into the Games Workshop hobby. It's so, just the fiction of it is just so tied into the Warhammer universe, pretty much being built around it, and it's really quite obvious, but, and like not least of all which because the Games Workshop licensed game, The Hobbit, is trying to reinvigorate that Middle-earth kind of setting as a game system. But holy moly, okay, The Hobbit was one of the first books that I read in middle school that was, you know, geared for older audiences, not like Goosebumps or R.L. Stine or any of that, like Nancy Drew and stuff. Like, I consider The Hobbit to be the first grown-up book that I ever read. I was so into it, and I remember thinking, like, The Hobbit, this whole universe, the Lord of the Rings setting and everything, this is amazing and awesome, and I totally love it. And oh, by the way, I just hit record at a stoplight, and I'm just holding this, or I'm not even holding this. It's hands-free, so don't call the cops on me. I'm recording and I'm just talking, both hands on the wheel at 10 and 2. Don't you worry about that, everything is fine. And yeah, so what was I saying? The Hobbit was just a great childhood memory for me, and to be able to go back and revisit the setting, and first of all, to go back to the Lord of the Rings universe, and to be able to dive into Rivendell again, and to see the Shire again. It was so awesome. I thought it was great that they brought in that little scene at the beginning with Frodo and Bilbo together, and Bilbo at his writing desk talking and writing about the beginnings of his grand adventure. I thought that was so fantastic, and I don't know if they refilmed, if they brought Elijah Wood and they're like, hey man, you busy like tomorrow morning at about, you know, like 10 to maybe noon, come in and film this one scene with us and we'll, you know, cut you a fat check. But oh boy, it was really cool. It was a great throwback, and it's a great way to tie in the Hobbit movie to the beginning of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I just thought it was fantastic. So the idea of the Hobbit going on a grand adventure when you are, you know, just a regular nobody, and you're an everyday kind of guy, and you go on this grand adventure, I think that really is very evocative, and it's what makes us want to go on adventures. You know, it's what makes us want to. I'm just like so amazed that I liked the movie so much, and it brought out the kid in me again. And I hated when Games Workshop released The Hobbit as a game and Escape from Goblin Town, and I looked at all the models and I was like, oh, this isn't for me. I don't like the scale. It looks like too small and tiny, and the details are just not very good, and damn it, now I want to buy it. Anyways, like I was saying, the idea of the everyday kind of schlubby guy going on grand adventures and just being, you know, not the warrior, not the expert fighter, not the you know, the adventurer type, but just happy to be in his little hole in the ground, cooking his food, eating his meals, having a grand old time by himself, and just, you know, staying as far away from any crazy adventures and just living a safe life. I think that's what draws us to the movies. That's why we want to go to see the movies, because a lot of us live these everyday ho-hum lives where we don't have much adventure and excitement, and this is like a grand adventure that Bilbo goes on, and I never thought that I would be interested in seeing this movie, but man, holy cow, I am very excited about it. It did have its flaws. I didn't see it in the crazy 200 frames per second or whatever like amazing new technology is out for it. I didn't see it in that. I just saw it in a regular theater, and I had a great time hearing the old music from the Lord of the Rings, the Shire music, hearing seeing Ian McKellen. Oh my gosh, please film the rest of these movies before he leaves us, before he flies, you fools. Like, film it while he's still alive. I was watching him fight, and I was watching him run around, and I was like, oh, Ian McKellen, film the rest of these movies, because if anything were to happen to him, oh man, that would just be terrible. And what else? Seeing Agent Smith with long hair, seeing Christopher Lee and Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, oh, it was amazing. And I used to listen to these podcasts and to people talking about the movie. I remember Great Jojo Man did a funny shout out in a recent video of his when he went to see the movie, and I just remember thinking, like, I don't know about all this hype, and I don't know about these dwarves, and a lot of them don't look like dwarves. Like Thorin Oakenshield just looks like a really short guy. He's not really pudgy like that one fat dwarf. He was hilarious. I don't even remember his name, but like Vili and Keely, or Geely and Mealy, Milli Vanilli, like those two, they didn't look like dwarves either. They didn't have beards. They just looked like really young guys with lanky hair. They look like stoners, or guys you see in San Francisco that are, you know, hippies and stuff. They didn't look like dwarves. You had a couple of them with the crazy beards and the crazy big bulging noses and the huge guts, and I'm like, that's a dwarf. Yeah. Oh, he's speaking with the Scottish accent. That's a dwarf. There's this one guy who had like a Russian accent, and I was like, what is this? What are you talking about? Why do you talk with a Russian accent? It reminded me of my Warp Smith. Okay, so I'm going off on crazy tangents, but you can definitely tell, for those of you who read The Hobbit as a child, and whose childhood would not be complete without watching The Hobbit, you will know where the film writers and screenwriters, not film writer, the screenwriter, where Peter Jackson, the director, decided to embellish and add in from other source materials that Tolkien had written, and not all of it is seamless. A lot of it kind of goes off into goes off on a tangent, I guess you could say, but it doesn't really break anything in the film for me. For me, it was just a fun ride from beginning to end. Oh, and Andy Serkis, man, that guy is going to be getting Gollum Smeagol work for the rest of his life. That's going to be his great legacy. I don't know how he's going to top this. His performance in this one, I don't know if Smeagol comes back in, or I mean Gollum, if Gollum comes back in the rest of the book. I don't think he did. I think it was that one scene, right, where filthy Baggins steals his precious. But man, he really did it. He really brought his A game. Everybody brought their A game. It was great. Oh, the pale orc, terrifying. Gandalf the Grey, hilarious, funny. The Goblin King, ha! Boy, I don't remember that in the book. I kind of remember the Goblin King, but the whole time I was watching it, right in the back of my mind, you have that cartoon. I don't know if you guys remember that cartoon where it had like this really weirdly proportioned, had anime eyes, kind of Bilbo Baggins, and he looked really weird, and it looked like if any of you ever saw Heavy Metal, the movie. Boy, that movie gave me nightmares when I was a kid, but it's like weirdly proportioned like those cartoon characters from Heavy Metal. And man, that cartoon was just in the back of my mind the whole time. But great movie, go see it. It's really awesome. I'm gonna shut this off because I'm coming up on a stoplight and I don't want to drain my battery. But hands-free, woohoo, Bluetooth. All I gotta say is The Hobbit far exceeded my expectations. I was going just expecting to have another night at the cinema and not expecting too much, except being angry about how overpriced the movies are, and I ended up having a thoroughly enjoyable time. So I give it two big thumbs up. Go see it, check it out. And if it's a choice between this and something else that you're not sure on, then if you are, well, I mean, obviously if you're watching this or listening to this video, then you are a fan of Warhammer and the Warhammer world, then this is definitely for you. You hear a lot of awesome little references that tie into the other Games Workshop, the game that the movie and the book were based on. Not the movie, the book came out first, but you can definitely tell the Games Workshop based Warhammer Fantasy on the Hobbit, because at some points they call the hobbits halflings. You hear Gandalf call the elves high elves, and just the aesthetics of the armor. If you look at the armor and the weapons and just the aesthetic of halflings being burglars and really good cooks and stocking their pantries, just there's so many little nods and connections to the game setting that Games Workshop has built, and it's really cool to see. So, all right, that's it. I had a great time at the cinema. Please go and support your local cinema. Take a beautiful girl with you or some friends. Have a good time. Then go back home and order everything off Games Workshop that comes with The Hobbit, and then regret it in the morning. That's my big plan, and I'm sticking to it if my lady friend doesn't take away the laptop and scream at me for ordering more stuff from Games Workshop. Latest, players!